Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. Cohen, we've got a lot to discuss. An
That we do.
amended gag order was put on Donald Trump by Justice Merchan after Donald Trump continuously started attacking Justice Merchan's daughter. And then Donald Trump this morning posted a video of Jonathan Turley also attacking Justice Merchan's daughter. Did that violate the amended gag order? And then I want to hear from you, Michael Cohen, because I know you've been the recipient of very frequent death threats as a result of Donald Trump's conduct. So we will go over that. I want to talk about what's going on with Donald Trump's stock, DJT. It's up a little bit today after tanking yesterday. I have a number of thoughts I want to share. I know, Michael Cohen, you do as well. The MAGA Republicans may do nothing at all other than disgrace our nation in the House of Representatives, and they're doing that again. This is their big announcement of what they want to do. They want to name an airport in Virginia, the Dulles International Airport, after Donald Trump. We'll talk about that and much more here on Political Beatdown. Michael Cohen, let's just get into it right away. This amended gag order was requested by the Manhattan District Attorney. One of the things that the District Attorney's office cited is not only the fact that Donald Trump was attacking Justice Merchan's daughter, but that Donald Trump was attacking witnesses, including you, referring to you, Michael Cohen, as death. And that was specifically in the motion that Donald Trump called you death. What's your reaction, Michael Cohen, to Justice Merchan amending the gag order to include family members? And what's your overall reaction to this environment right now where Donald Trump is threatening witnesses, intimidating witnesses, and trying to tear apart our judiciary?
So let me start with the second part first and work my way backwards. The reason that Donald is doing this, the reason that it's obstruction of justice, it's witness tampering, is because he's scared. In fact, the word isn't even scared. He's petrified. He knows the information that the Manhattan District Attorney is going to, be using at the time of trial. And it's not that he's clairvoyant or he knows something that the press and all that they don't know. The reason he knows it is because in discovery, the prosecutors turn over the documents that they intend to call or to use at the time of trial. So he knows exactly what's coming at him. And that's the way our system works. Well, how do you get past documentary evidence? How do you get past whether it's going to be documentary evidence in handwritten notes, in text messages, in emails, in phone logs? He knows what's coming at him. Now, one of the things that Donald has been contending with is the 3 civil cases, the 2 E. Jean Carroll cases and the 1 New York Attorney General case, which, by the way, he lost all 3. To the tune of over $500 million. In fact, it's over $550 million. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Haba the Horrible, who's off partying like a rock star for her 40th birthday. Happy birthday, Haba the Horrible. While you're off partying like a fucking rock star, all right, Donald's trying to figure out whose ass he has to kiss for $175 million or $500 million or what, $93 million. I mean, it's truly an amazing thing. A guy who I remember, a guy who I knew so well, who hated paying anybody anything, is paying this one so much money, who has basically failed at every single turn. But he is petrified right now because, again, the distinction with this upcoming Manhattan District Attorney case is it's criminal. This one doesn't just go after his pocketbook. This one goes after his freedom. And the thought that he's going to have to strip out, the thought that he's going to have to spend time, whether it's going to be in a federal well, it can't be federal, a state lockup like a Rikers Island or some other type of a significant home confinement and treated like an inmate is overwhelming to him. Now, as far as what Judge Merchan did today, and that's the extending the gag order, good for Judge Merchan. Let me tell you, this Trump has made a terrible, and his lawyers are giving him obviously very poor advice, or he's just not taking the lawyer's advice, which is shut up. All right. Stop attacking, stop being a part of this attack on whether it's the judge's staff, the judge's daughter, witnesses, etc. Knock it off, or you're going to find yourself spending a little time underneath the courthouse in lockup. And Merchan is the wrong guy for Trump to be playing with. Why they're not taking it serious, I don't know. I get it. He's the head of the Republican Party, one of our two political parties. I get it that he's going to be running for the presidency of the United States. So they are giving him so much leeway, so much rope, but Trump can't help himself. Whatever length of rope that they give him, he can't help himself. He will ultimately hang himself. And the worst part is the fact that there are other individuals out there that, for whatever the reason might be, that they are helping Trump to hurt himself, to hang himself, metaphorically speaking, of course, to hang himself as it relates to the violation of this gag order. And I think he's playing with fire with Judge Merchan. I absolutely do. Which one is this one, Ben, that Salty just put up there? Ron Phillips.
This is what Donald Trump posted earlier this morning, and he pinned this to his Truth Social account. This was following the amendment to the gag order, which included the family members of Justice Merchan and the family members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Let me just show you what that video is, because in my opinion, it's a violation of the gag order. So what? Donald Trump himself is not saying it. I mean, and he's posting the video of what essentially an agent of his, Jonathan Turley, whether it's a formal agent or informal agent, is saying on his behalf on a propaganda network. But Trump is doing this to try to challenge Justice Merchan. Trump is hoping that Justice Merchan takes the bait right here, because this is part of Donald Trump's strategy. To your point, Michael Cohen, that Trump is terrified and petrified of this April 15th. Trump wants to create a showdown where Justice Merchan calls him in because Trump's attacking Merchan's daughter, that Merchan orders Donald Trump to be held in contempt so that Donald Trump's lawyers can then file an appeal with the appellate division and try to derail trial before April 15th. And Justice Merchan knows it. But let's play this video of what Donald Trump posted this morning after the amendment to the gag order, almost immediately after. Play the clip.
John, and lastly, just on the massive gag order put on the former president of the United States in the Alvin Bragg case, because they don't want him talking about prosecutor Matthew Colangelo, and they don't want him talking about the judge's daughter. But Matthew Colangelo was in the Justice Department with Joe Biden. That is outrageous to President Trump. Also, the fact is, the judge's daughter is a activist who works for Kamala Harris, and there was some dispute on whether she did have a picture up on a website with Donald Trump behind bars. That, to me, is something that if I'm Donald Trump, I'm a little concerned about, that the judge has a daughter who feels this way.
Yeah, I've actually been opposed to gag orders for years, particularly efforts to gag you, Brian.
I mean, the way they so cavalierly lie.
Well, it's unbelievable, right?
He goes, there is some dispute about Justice Merchan's daughter posting images of Donald Trump behind bars. No, there isn't a dispute. The dispute is something that was literally made up and fabricated by conspiracy theorists in Donald Trump's group that Donald Trump amplified. There isn't a dispute. And that's what I mean, Michael Cohen, that like, to me, this is not an issue of, oh, Democrats versus Republicans. Just give me the facts. And what they're doing right there is spinning lies over and over again to lie to their viewers. And here's the thing, Cohen. If you're really busy and you're working 2 jobs and you turn on Fox because you think you're getting the news, and then you learn from Fox because you think you're getting the news that a judge's daughter is posting images of Donald Trump behind bars because Fox is telling you that that's what happened. I understand how, if that's how you're consuming your news, you'd be like, well, that's screwed up. And then you mention and you lie and you say, like, the judge and the district attorney's trying to gag Trump about talking about Matthew Colangelo, who worked in the Department of Justice. Now, what they're trying to deal with is the fact that you're threatening witnesses. That's it. It's unprecedented to have any type of criminal defendant attack a judge's daughter or to attack the family members of the prosecution. That is what is unprecedented here. And Donald Trump is free to call Jack Smith deranged. He's free to attack, to criticize President Biden, but when you post images like Donald Trump did of President Biden being hogtied, and this is the type of messaging that Donald Trump is amplifying, that he tries to post it. This isn't, we live in very divided times and very polarized moments. That's what Kristen Welker from Meet the Inadequate Press led her show with. This reminds us that we are in very polarized times. No, it's not that. That's not the issue. You have one political party right now, the Republican Party, taken over by MAGA, that is running on pure, unadulterated fascism. That's what's taking place. But that's, Cohen, the disinformation right there. And I could see how somebody who watches that goes, man, they're really screwing Trump over there. The judge's daughter's posting photos of Trump behind bars. No, that's a lie. And then you'd go, wait a minute, people don't lie like that. They do. They're just completely 100% making this up and lying.
And you think because it is a legitimate news station, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking like OAN, right? Or Newsmax, which are far right wing stations or networks. We're talking about Fox News. So when you get these guys and they lay it up, look, there's no love lost between me and little Johnny Turdley. All right. I think Turdley is the asshole that his last name shows. He is a fucking prick to the nth degree. All right. The shit that he is constantly writing about me, they do the same towards me that they're doing right here. Under no circumstance should a defendant be out there attacking, whether it's witnesses, whether it's judges' family, whether it's the law clerks. Yes, you have every right to question the Justice Department. You have every right to question the prosecutors. You have every right to question the judge. And so if that's what you think is smart in your case, but under no circumstances should you be doing the things that you're doing. And the problem with little Johnny Turdley is that he's amplifying what Trump wants. He's amplifying it. And you know who's going to end up getting beaten in the fucking head with the stupid stick? It's going to be Donald Trump. But everybody believes. You can't get anybody to disagree with this statement. Everybody believes that Trump exists in a world where the laws do not apply to him as they would apply to you, Ben, certainly as they apply to me or to any of our brigaders. If it was you or any of our brigaders making the statements or acting in the despicable manner that he is acting, your ass would be in jail right now. The judge would say to you, all right, listen, Ben, go home. I'm going to do you a little favor here. Go home, get your toothbrush, some toothpaste, make sure it's in a little bag that we can see through, because you're going to spend the next 48 hours in the tombs underneath the courthouse. That's what they would do. And the next time you open your mouth, it's not going to be 2 days, it'll be a week. And if you do it again, it'll be a month. And the judge would set a very strict, penalty schedule, but not fucking von Schitzenpants, which, by the way, just so you know, was in the motion that they tried to pass. They clearly watch not just this Political Beatdown show, but they also watch my Mea Culpa podcast. They listen to it, where they actually cite Mea Culpa and von Schitzenpants, trying to use that to delay the case further, claiming that Trump can't get a fair trial. You imagine? So go beat down.
Yeah, I saw that motion, and one of the recent delay tactics by Donald Trump, he was complaining that you've been calling him, I'm not making this up, in the motion itself, it says that one of the witnesses, Michael Cohen, repeatedly refers to Donald Trump as von Schitzenpants and lists all of the times you called him von Schitzenpants over and over again in the motion that was filed by Trump. But this just in, Donald Trump's lawyer Todd Blanche just filed a request to bring a motion to recuse Justice Merchan. Under the rules of the court, you have to seek leave or request permission to file a motion, is what Justice Merchan said after some of the frivolous filings by Donald Trump before. But this happened moments ago. Let me read it from Donald Trump's lawyer, from Todd Blanche. It says, "Dear Justice Merchan, we respectfully submit this pre-motion letter seeking leave to file a motion for recusal pursuant to Judiciary Law Sections 14 and Canons 2 and 3, based on changed circumstances and newly discovered evidence." Here, pause right there. They previously brought a motion to recuse Justice Merchan, which was denied about 8 or 9 months ago. So now they're bringing the same motion again because, as you said at the outset of the show, Michael Cohen, they are terrified and petrified. Let's keep on reading. And this just in from Trump's lawyers trying to seek the recusal of Justice Merchan. The letter from Trump's lawyer goes on to say, in August 2023, the court reasoned, some people here, in August 2023, the court reasoned that recusal was not warranted because Donald Trump had presented only speculative and hypothetical scenarios. The scenarios identified by the defense have come to pass. Trump is the presumptive Republican nominee for president in the 2024 election. Your Honor's daughter is an executive and partner at Authentic Campaigns, Inc. As recently as February and March 2024, Authentic has used social media to market its connection to President Biden and Vice President Harris while deriding President Trump. Authentic and Your Honor's daughter are making money by supporting the creation and dissemination of campaign advocacy for Trump's opponent, political rivals, and the Democrat Party. I'll just say this, Michael Cohen, when you are watching CNN or MSNBC or Fox, you don't have people just walk into the house as you're breaking news right there. So I'll just I'll say that, and I'm going to see who's here in a second. But let me get your reaction, Michael Cohen, to what was filed. Now that and this is a tactic of Trump right now, is a gag in place that covers that covers Justice Merchan's daughter. Trump then has his lawyers attack the judge's daughter in a filing. Same exact thing they did with Justice Engoron.
Same thing they did with me in the motion. Same exact thing that they did with me in the motion. And the whole purpose that Trump's lawyers is to stir up the base. And again, it's a sort of it's a latent form of witness intimidation. And so why would anybody, myself included, want to put myself, my safety, my family safety in jeopardy when you have somebody as unhinged as von Schitzenpants? You have somebody whose supporters are as unhinged as von Schitzenpants are, and you don't have repercussions. If there's no repercussion to the bully in the playground and he just keeps pushing you or hitting you, right? When is he going to stop? That's why we need somebody to turn around, to put the gloves on and to say, okay, I gave you a warning and now you put the gloves on and you whack them right across the side of the head. All right. And you say, enough. And as a result, now I'm putting you for 48 hours in fucking lockup in the tombs underneath the courthouse. And I'll tell you another thing, too. I find this letter by Blanche to be disrespectful to the court. I find this letter to be disrespectful to Judge Merchan. I find it to be a violation of the gag order. They know exactly what they are saying. They know exactly what they are doing, despite the fact, once again, they ignore the facts. They ignore the facts that Merchan's daughter did not put anything out, that Twitter account or X account. I always get confused what the hell to call it. Do most people know that it's now X? You call it X as opposed to Twitter. So Twitter, formerly X. Anybody that's looked into it knows that it is not her account. And because Von Schitzenpants has never made a single mistake in his entire life, he could not be attacking her on something that she didn't do. If I was Judge Merchan, I'll tell you what I would do here. I would actually sanction Blanche for putting in this request, for making a motion for the judge to recuse himself, identical to a previous motion that was made and denied, that they're wasting the court's time. I would sanction him, and I think that he would be 100% justified in doing so. And while you're at it, not only would I sanction Blanche for this ridiculous letter, I would sanction Trump under the gag order, violation of the gag order. And I would start really laying down the law once and for all, because what will ultimately happen is come April 15th, these types of games, this one-upmanship by Trump's attorneys trying to do Donald's bidding is going to escalate. And every fucking day of that trial is going to be a shit show. I don't want to be a part of a shit show. I've already lived this now for 6 years, the fucking Trump shit show. I'm tired of it. I'm up to my neck. I'm like choking in this crap. I don't even want to be there. I told you, my brigaders, that I don't even want to be at this trial. I don't want to be a witness to it. Let them use the documentary evidence. Let them use other people. You don't need me. They believe they do. They subpoenaed me. And so I'm expected to appear. But what he's doing is he's making the environment so dangerous for not just me, but for all the witnesses. It's why I constantly keep saying that, I need my counsel. And my counsel is, again, because I'm going to be going very soon back to the DA to look over the documents that finally that shit group of Southern District prosecutors, the ones that went after me, like the Andrea Griswolds and the Nick Roos, and the Tom McKay and so on, that whole group of fucking animals, they finally turned over the documents to the Manhattan DA, and they're turning them over because Trump put in a subpoena. Seriously? After 4 years of asking for the documents, only after Trump puts in a request in January, he waits 5 weeks. We're on 4 years. It's wrong. So I have to go look at those documents. And now I have to go again. And you have more nonsense coming out of Camp Trump. No, it's hard to stay strong. I know all of my brigade, all of our brigaders here, Ben, and again, to those of you that are continuing to donate to the GoFundMe, I can't tell you how important it is. I have these never-ending bills that are just choking to death. And counsel has to be there and go through to make sure that it doesn't create other problems.
I just want to remind everyone that Cohen's GoFundMe legal defense fund is completely separate and distinct from the Patreon. Just don't want there to ever be confusion about
Right.
that when we talk
Right.
about Patreon in a little bit. But the
So,
legal
just
defense.
to finish that, where the brigaders, it's not just brigaders. I hear it from so many people. Stay strong, keep your chin up. It's being this is a political beatdown. It's tough. It's tough when you have an opponent who has so many folks that are supporting him, so many lawyers that are creating these sort of motions and doing these things that interfere with the case. And then you have little Johnny Turdley going on Fox News. I mean, this is an overwhelming experience, and it's overwhelming because, Ben, it's so unprecedented in the history of the United States of America that we have a president or a former president who is twice impeached, 4 times indicted, and potentially going to be the first former president of the United States criminally charged.
Yeah, and would be already criminally charged, then potentially criminally convicted. And look, the reverence and respect I have for our justice system, having gone to law school, starting my career as a civil rights lawyer, and seeing this concerted effort by Trump and MAGA Republicans to just shred the tapestry of our system apart, day by day. When I was reading the order that Justice Merchan, the written order that preceded the amended gag order by Justice Merchan, and I'm reading these words, and I'm thinking to myself, how is this the United States of America? I mean, here's what Justice Merchan had to say in a written order. The same way I've read for you all written orders from federal judge Lewis Kaplan, who talks about how Donald Trump was trying to argue that his sexual assault that he was found liable for and the digital penetration is somehow different from a rape of a genital penetration. And I have to watch or read a federal judge tell Donald Trump that, no, it's the same technical thing as a rape. And I'm reading a federal judge recount what Donald Trump did to E. Jean Carroll, knowing that this is the leader of one of the major political parties, the Republican Party, and reflecting on the days where if you spelled potato wrong or took a weird photograph windsurfing, that could be the end of the campaign, or you went Yahoo like Howard Dean did. And then I read something like this, Michael Cohen, from Justice Merchan's order from yesterday, from Justice Merchan. One day following the issuance of said order, referring to the prior gag order before the amendment, defendant, referring to Donald Trump, made several extrajudicial statements attacking a family member of this court. Contrary to the position defendant took in his opposition to the People's February 22nd, 2024 motion for an order restricting extrajudicial statements, i.e., that his statements plainly constitute core political speech on matters of great public concern and criticism of major public figures, this pattern of attacking family members of presiding jurists and attorneys assigned to his cases serves no legitimate purpose. It merely injects fear in those assigned or called to participate in the proceedings that not only they, but their family members as well are fair game for defendants' vitriol. Goes on to say how the threats posed by Donald Trump are not hypothetical. The threat is very real. Admonitions are not enough, nor is reliance on self-restraint. The average observer must now, after hearing defendants' recent attacks, draw the conclusion that if they become involved in these proceedings, even tangentially, they should worry not only for themselves, but for their loved ones as well. Such concerns will undoubtedly interfere with the fair administration of justice and constitutes a direct attack on the rule of law itself. Again, all citizens called upon to participate in these proceedings, whether as a juror, a witness, or in some other capacity, must now concern themselves not only with their own personal safety, but with the safety and the potential for personal attacks upon their loved ones. Michael Cohen, I want to get your reaction to that, but first, I want to remind everybody about our Patreon, patreon.com/political beatdown. Michael Cohen, you've graciously agreed to hold a special emergency Zoom meeting with all of our patrons. So immediately following this show, we've posted a secret link for our patrons at patreon.com/political beatdown. We will do a lightning round, 30 minutes. We'll try to answer all of your questions. If you ever wanted to meet Michael Cohen, now's the chance at patreon.com/political beatdown. Sign up and you'll get access to the secret link. One other thing I want to mention as well, as we're talking about all this stochastic terrorism taking place, the Midas Touch Network executive produced a documentary, Michael Cohen, called Against All Enemies. It is currently #1 on Apple TV for all documentaries and #12 across all genres. You see right there, Oppenheimer and the Bob Marley movie are beating Against All Enemies on the rankings, but we're #1 in documentaries. So go to Apple TV, download that. Let's bring Against All Enemies to #1 on the charts across all genres. Michael Cohen, I want to get your take on what I just read, but let's take our first and only quick break of the show.
Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? Look, I know about sleep quality because I'm sleep deprived. But if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend that you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. It's inspired by NASA. Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and they're designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. I mean, no more gross odors. You see, Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands. And they feel as nice, if not nicer than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, causing breakouts and worse, acne. So sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/beat and try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo BEAT, that's BEAT, at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, well, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/beat and use the code BEAT to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/beat to treat yourself. And thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode.
And now let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner, Roan. If you're like me, you understand the pains of finding out what to wear. Let's face it, most clothes are uncomfortable or too tight or never actually the size that you really are, and not to mention the annoyance of trying to put together a good outfit. And when you finally do have a good fit, you can only wear it for a few hours before you have an important meeting or dinner, and then you have to change. Everyone wants to dress their best and look good at all times because, frankly, it's a confidence booster. So here's the deal. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Roan's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man. And here's why. Roan helps you get ready for any occasion with the commuter collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Roan commuter collection. Roan's comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. With Roan's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy. With the Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And on top of that, Roan is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. I absolutely love Roan. This has truly become my go-to commuter fit. We're on the move a lot, whether it's jumping from meeting to meeting or catching a flight or an important dinner. The Roan commuter collection has never let me down. The versatility and overall comfort of the collection is undefeated. And even after I wear it all day, I still feel super fresh because of that Gold Fusion anti-odor technology. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. So right now, head to roan.com/Cohen, that's Cohen, and use promo code Cohen to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/Cohen, Cohen, and use code Cohen. It's time to find your corner office. And now, back to the video.
We're back. Michael Cohen, great ad read by you. Great
Listen,
ad read by Jordan.
I love the Jordy moves, those dance moves. Certainly a lot better than the Trump, I call it the giraffe jerk off move that he does, right? As I explained on one of our past political beatdowns, so to our brigaders, Ben called me right after the show and he said, thanks to you, I will never get that vision out of my mind. Well, I just wanted to ensure, Ben, it remains in your mind, because not only is he jerking off these two giraffes, he is a fucking jerk off himself.
I could just imagine what's Mr. Cohen, have you called the criminal defendant von Schitzenpants?
Have you referred to his dance moves as the giraffe jerk off?
Have you said that he jerks off giraffes, Michael Cohen? Yes, I did. Have you seen it? It's exactly what it looks like. And I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
Your Honor, if I may stand and demonstrate, you tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh, man. All right. So before we took the commercial break, go get back to the seriousness here of the fact that, though, for real, when we took the commercial break, though, I read you very chilling words from Justice Merchan, just describing matter-of-factly Donald Trump's conduct, the way you had federal judge Lewis Kaplan matter-of-factly describe what Donald Trump was found liable for. And when you read this and then say, well, this is the leader of the Republican Party, who the Republican Party wants to give the nuclear codes to, you see that there's not only just total and utter rot in the Republican Party that's become MAGA, but really kind of total and utter rot in our education system, in media literacy, in political literacy, that someone can engage in behavior like that and even be a contender. I want to get your take on what I read before the commercial break, Michael.
So my take on it is, as I had done before, I feel like Charlemagne the God, right? When they have you read mean, nasty tweets and so on, or mean, nasty texts. I have one that just sent me, not more than a few hours ago. You are a complete Democrat bigot. All you pieces of shit have is to attack Trump because you know you bastards are losing. By the way, the worst spelling I've ever seen. It's actually very funny, almost as funny as his spelling. You have a mentally pleated president that can't run a Matchbox car, much less the country. But it shows, and there's no saving that demonic piece of shit president. Okay, this is what he incites. Then, of course, I have another one. What a piece of shit you are. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's up, fucking loser? I'll take that one too. Shut up, you fucking loser. I think that may be the guy's brother or sister. Dude, stop crying every day. No one gives a shit. You're a coward. You did Trump's bidding, then turned your back on him. Again, spelling mistakes all over. These are just a few of the many fine tweets and comments that I get day in and day out because of folks like little Johnny Turdley, because of folks like Todd Blanche, because of people like Donald and those acolytes and those sycophants that are around him that are just trying to play to Trump's ego. Hey, Donald, I sent this out. Hey, look what happened. Hey, look at this. Look at what they sent to Cohen, as if they're not monitoring everybody's emails. And I shouldn't say emails. I meant tweets or posts or what have you on the various different platforms. That's their game. Their game is just to overwhelm you with the hatred. And in fact, it's blowing that dog whistle where Trump actually hopes that somebody does something stupid and comes after, one or more of the witnesses, because he believes that that will stop others from testifying against him. Not just in this case, not just in the Manhattan District Attorney case, but in the Georgia case, in the Mar-a-Lardo documents case, in the DC cases. That's his hope, that people would say, hey, you know what? I don't give a shit about these subpoenas. They have no right to put me in jeopardy. I have no interest in testifying. And you know what? They would be right. They would be 100% right. Unless you could protect those that they're seeking to assist in the prosecution, they shouldn't have the right to subpoena you. They don't have the right to put you in jeopardy.
No, it's chilling, and that is exactly the point also that the Manhattan District Attorney's Office made. Although it's not like they're providing you round the clock security or security at all. I mean, look, Justice Merchan and Justice Merchan's daughter. I'm assuming, I don't want to make an ass out of you and me, but I'm assuming that the court police would offer protection to a judge and perhaps even the judge's daughter, and they have a whole police force that would be able to investigate threats and things like that. Regular witnesses who aren't judges don't have that. You don't have that. The other witnesses don't have that. And so, this is one of the things that I had posted earlier today is that, look, you and I spend a lot of time together. Even when we're off the air, we just spend time just talking. And, you've always expressed to me, going back for a very long period of time, the types of death threats that you receive, which escalate as it gets closer to the trial. And as Trump's rhetoric increased, there's a direct correlation with his posts and the types of death threats that you get, the frequency and quantity. You shouldn't get a single death threat, but they certainly accelerate and increase as Donald Trump starts posting about you, and calls you death and makes statements like that.
And by the way, Ben, neither should Judge Merchan's daughter. She has nothing. There's no business in Donald attacking Merchan's daughter. She is not. My understanding is she doesn't live with them, so it's not as if there's police protection around her. She doesn't deserve it. They shouldn't do it. And you know what? Donald shouldn't want that either, right? What would he say if somebody was threatening one of his daughters? What if somebody was threatening his children? I mean, the fact of the matter is he doesn't care about anyone or anything other than himself. And so he's actually, he gets gratification out of seeing things like this, and knowing that he is intimidating somebody. It's really, it's really fantastic that he has this ability to get away with it. And I'm not saying fantastic in a good sense. It's more, I'm so angered by it and I'm confused by it.
And it's most frequently directed at women, right? Whether it's Justice Engoron's wife, Justice Engoron's law clerk, Justice Merchan's daughter, E. Jean Carroll, the statements about Donald Trump grabbing women by their genitals. And as he says they just let you do it and they get away with it. And at his deposition, he said, well, unfortunately or fortunately, that's just what wealthy, famous men can do. And so there's a pattern here over and over again. And the way Donald Trump also attacks Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is a very different type of attack that focuses on sexuality and focuses on those types of aspects of things. And
he includes me, Ben, into these attacks, and he has his minion doing it simply because the Manhattan DA and others, including the press, have all turned around and they've branded me as the key witness in this case. So the feeling is if you can get rid of the key witness in the case, that nobody else's testimony will have any, relevance. By the way, you could also add into that list Stormy Daniels, who he has attacked, vociferously again and again and again over the course of time.
Let me share this with you. This is from Donald Trump's speech earlier today in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And you know how Donald Trump and the followers, after Donald Trump says, there's going to be a bloodbath if he doesn't win. And yes, he was talking about the auto industry before that. But before that, he was playing a manipulated version of the national anthem where he praised the January 6th insurrectionists and called them hostages and talks about freeing them, some of the most violent people who attempted to kill police officers who he's singing songs with, and then using language like bloodbath. He knows what he's doing. But here's him from today using very apocalyptic language like that should never be a part of our body politic here in the United States, regardless of political party. Here he says that if he doesn't win on November 5th, we're not going to have a country anymore. We will cease to exist. Play this clip.
Because if we don't win on November 5th, I think our country is going to cease to exist. It could be the last election we ever have. I actually mean that. We don't win. I think this could be the last election we ever have. That's where our country's going.
As he makes those comments, the message being sent right there to his followers, to his supporters, is, what do you think the message is to his followers and supporters? They're being told by Trump and Fox and all their propaganda networks that people are coming for them. People are, the woke is coming for them. Transgender people are coming from them. Everyone's trying to take away their way of life, and they're under assault and they're under attack. And so they have these people, they're people living in a sense of utter fear, of kind of hopelessness, where you prop up an authoritarian who says, I alone am the person who can fix it, versus, yes, we can, or let's build together. Here, from the same speech, this is Donald Trump's message to suburban housewives. Here, let's play this clip if we have it. Play the clip.
But into the rural communities, suburban communities. And, the suburban housewives actually like Donald Trump. You know why? Because I'm the one that's going to keep them safe. They like to say, well, the suburban housewives, I don't know. I think I do great with the suburban housewives because they want.
You sexually assaulted a suburban.
I mean,
sexually assaulted who could possibly do
better? Ben, who could do better than Donald Trump with suburban housewives?
And then his language too of, I'm going to protect you. That you need suburban housewives.
You need Donald's protection.
You need Donald Trump to protect you, suburban housewives. And Trump will be the one who protected you. Who hung out Jeffrey Epstein. Trump, who said that when he thinks about his daughter, Ivanka, he thinks about what they have in common is sex, that Donald Trump would be the type of person who would be able to protect suburban house. And just think about that language as well. My dogs are barking in the background. Take a look at Trump talking about Trump on EVs. Here, play this clip.
This. And the first day, I promise you, I will sign where the electric vehicle mandate is gone. If you want an electric car, you can buy it, but you're going to be able to buy every other form of push, every other form of car and engine and motor that you want. And you
You're going to be
What the
able
hell is
to
he talking
do
about? Every
anything.
other a method of
Push.
push?
A push. A
Yeah,
push. Here's what Donald Trump says. He goes, they're not humans, they are animals. I want you to listen to this. Play this clip.
The 22-year-old nursing student in Georgia who was barbarically murdered by an illegal alien animal. The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals. And Nancy Pelosi told me that. She said, please don't use the word animal, sir, when you're talking about these people. I said, I'll use the word animal because that's what they are. I'll never forget my vow to her.
And notice what he does there. What he tries to conflate, and he does it on purpose, is somebody who's a murderer who should be condemned and held accountable to the fullest extent of the law and deserves no favors from anyone, period, full stop. But where Trump pivots the conversation is to refer to anyone who he calls illegal immigrants and says that they're the animals. That's what he is referring to dehumanizing illegal immigrants and trying to lump everybody together and just take away the very dignity of people, and not the murdering people, but another group of people. And that's how he wants to conflate and create this fear. And finally, this is Donald Trump on Michigan, what he says about Michigan. This is his final message to the people of Michigan. Play the clip.
It's just the whole thing is so crazy. And she's a terrible governor, by the way. Your streets are bad. Your everything's bad.
Your streets are bad. Your everything is bad in Michigan. You
Because
have
he has no facts, Ben, within which to back up any of the statements that he makes. It is a statement. It is a rally of nothing but divisiveness, vile, and hate. That's just who he is. And the saddest part, the thing that bothered me as I watched that was not what was coming out of Von Schitzenpants's mouth, right? That's not what really upset me. What upset me, the fucking dirtbags that are standing behind him in uniform. We have entrusted these people for our safety. This is law enforcement applauding vile, divisive, despicable comments made about whether it's the governor, made about an immigrant that's here. Ben, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That immigrant who killed that young lady should be held accountable, no different than if it was an American-born citizen. And let's be very clear about something, all right? There are plenty of murders that are conducted by American citizens as well. You cannot turn around and hypothetically, if it's somebody who is Jewish and white, now all of a sudden you're going to condemn every single, Jewish person because one Jewish guy murdered somebody else, right? Seriously? I mean, you can't make that one person the denominator and the numerator at the same time. What he does, and he's effective at how he does it, is he makes that one person the entire beach instead of it just being one grain of sand. Right? I mean, it's amazing how he does it. And the worst part are the people like the idiots that are standing behind him, applauding this guy as if he's saying something smart. It is, again, as stupid as they come. It is as despicable as they come. Like I said, this guy who murdered this young girl should be tried, convicted, and he should be punished the same extent as anyone else. But he's using the death of that young lady for the purpose of his campaign. And I'll tell you, I remember, he tried to do that with the Sicknick family, right? The officer who died as a direct result of January 6th. And that family has told him, stop using our son for your campaign shit.
Well, they are still using Officer Sicknick for their campaign stuff, and specifically one of the people who are singing the new version of the national anthem that Trump calls the J6 anthem was one of the people who had bludgeoned Officer Sicknick, is one of the singers in the new anthem that Trump created that he plays at the beginning of his events, where he says that they need to free the January 6th hostages, is what Donald Trump says. And, it's a great point you make, Cohen, and I think it's where we should close out the show, which is,
Before, don't forget.
oh, and not the
somebody's
two-finger
gonna
salute.
sing
I'm
a
teeing you
salute.
up for the two-finger salute right here, which is, as I see those officers behind him, and I don't know who they are, but the way he usually does it is they're usually from the police union, because the police themselves can't be on there. So he usually brings in police union people who are MAGA and has them stand in uniform behind them, which is, to me, so utterly ridiculous. But here's the thing, Cohen. Donald Trump posts things like this. The 600th day of their nightly vigil outside the D.C. jail, from Mickey Whithoft, Ashley Babbitt's mother. And this is what Donald Trump's posting on his social media platform. The D.C. prayer vigil on Freedom Corner, hashtag stand in solidarity with our January 6th political prisoners in the D.C. jail as we honor their bravery. So Just Security, which does incredible work, did an analysis of the individuals who are actually in the D.C. jail. There's about 29 of them, okay? These are the people who are in the D.C. jail right now. That's it. There's no more people than this. So when Trump talks about the D.C. jail January 6th inmates, and he refers to these people as heroes and patriotic and hostages, here they are right there. 27 have been charged with assaulting law enforcement officers. And Just Security did a great job going through who these people are that Donald Trump is calling a hero and patriotic, and who he says is very brave. Someone like Daniel Ball. Ball is charged with several felonies and misdemeanors. The felony charges include assaulting law enforcement officers by allegedly throwing an explosive device that detonated on at least 25 officers. Meet D.C. jail January 6th inmate David Dempsey. Dempsey is charged with felonies, including assaulting law enforcement officers with bludgeoning weapons and projectiles and mace-like agents. Meet D.C. jail January 6th inmate Scott Miller. Miller, a member of the Proud Boys, pled guilty to a felony of assaulting law enforcement officers using a dangerous weapon. I could read you the other 27 stories, but you get the point. And Donald Trump is making posts praising these people as patriotic Americans. And go back, and if you ever read some of the types of comments that that the Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh wrote, you look at some of these statements he made, they're almost indistinguishable from the type of statements that are made by MAGA today. Let me read you this statement that Timothy McVeigh made in 1993 as he drove to Waco, Texas. And the Waco, Texas siege, the 30-year anniversary of that, Donald Trump commemorated as the first stop of his campaign for 2024. Remember he did the rally in Waco? This is from Timothy McVeigh. It's indistinguishable from MAGA Republican rhetoric today. Quote, the government is afraid of the guns people have because they have to control the people at all times. Once you take away the guns, you can do anything to the people. You give them an inch and they take a mile. I believe we are slowly turning into a socialist government. The government is continually growing bigger and more powerful, and the people need to prepare to defend themselves against government control. That's not a quote from Donald Trump, although it certainly looks like one. That's Timothy McVeigh. Michael Cohen, I'm going to give you the last word.
All right. So, Salty, if you could drop that photo for one quick second of Trump at that rally with the group behind him, that would be fantastic, because there's nothing that I find more despicable than someone wearing the uniform who is standing and applauding lawlessness, who is standing and applauding divisiveness and hatred and just vitriol. They're the ones that are entrusted. They're the ones that we the people are paying in order to keep us safe. So if you're trying to keep people safe, how do you stand there and applaud someone like Donald Trump on a stand saying the things that he's saying. So to all of those fake law enforcement assholes, each and every one of them trying to butter up to this butterball, I turn around and I say, here you go, bring me right back in. Fuck you. All right? Do your fucking jobs. All right? And turn around and worry more about America than worrying about yourselves and this ridiculous ideology that you have. I mean, notice you don't have anybody standing up there of color. There's no minority. It's exactly what we talk about here on Political Beatdown each and every time we are referring to this whole white, superiority, this KKK mentality. That's exactly what's going on that stage, because I don't see any diversity in that group whatsoever. And so to them, again, 2 fingers salute.
It's one of the reasons I want everybody to watch.
That's right. No women either. By the way, thank you to, I didn't see who it was that sent it. No women on there either.
That's why I really think Against All Enemies that we produced, executive produced here at the Midas Touch Network, is really an important film for people to watch, because it talks about when our veterans come back from overseas, how they are susceptible to recruitment in extremist organizations like the 3%ers, the Proud Boys, and the Oath Keepers, which try to kind of fabricate a military-like structure and provide that the veneer of the kind of military discipline. And they go and they try to reach out to the veteran community with pushing these lies. And so a lot of the people in our movie are veterans. You hear from people who have got out of the cult. You can really see the origins of it. So make sure you all download it. It's called Against All Enemies. It's on Apple TV. It's on YouTube. And it's also now on Amazon. It's number 12 on the Apple charts, which is pretty cool right there. Michael Cohen and I are going to spend 30 minutes right now at patreon.com/political beatdown with you. So if you'd like to meet Michael Cohen, become a member of patreon.com/political beatdown. The very first thing in the feed is the secret link. You'll click the secret link, and then we're going to open that up, and Michael Cohen and I will take 30 minutes, rapid fire questions. We'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can in that 30 minutes. I want to remind everybody, the same way mea culpa was mentioned in one of Donald Trump's legal filings, you could find it not just in Trump's legal filings, but also wherever podcasts are available. And make sure you download the Mea Culpa Blue podcast. Cohen, perhaps Donald Trump's lawyers should have thrown a footnote in their motion to remind people it is the blue Mea Culpa to download.
I'll remind them that when I'm on the stand.
Remind them it is the blue Mea Culpa, not the red. Make sure you subscribe there. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers here on the Midas Touch YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed. It also helps us a lot here on the show if you don't just subscribe to Political Beatdown through our YouTube, but also wherever podcasts are available. That helps with the algorithm. It allows the show to shoot up on the charts, and that helps a lot as well. So, Cohen, let's go to the Zoom. We're excited to meet you all. We're going to do that 30-minute meeting with our Patreon brigaders. We'll see y'all soon. Great episode, Cohen. Shout out to you. Shout out to your courage. Shout out to the brigaders, and shout out to your fantastic documentary. Shout out to that too. And the Midas Mighty. Thank you, Cohen.
The best.